Everyone, I'm Dr. Kim Duramo. This is MindBody TV. Welcome, members. I am always so honored to be here with you and so excited, especially for today. Today's episode of MindBody TV is, are you having ascension symptoms? It's really interesting what has come up around this topic for probably years. This has been something percolating in my awareness, and I've never really spoken about it this way specifically. Although many people in different communities that I've, created and am assisting have certainly seen it this way. And it was probably about a week or two ago when there was like, oh, this is the time, boom. We've got to talk about this. There are so many people in massive amounts of disorientation and discord because of not understanding what is really happening for us. What is my body going through? I feel like my world is falling apart. I feel like it's not okay. And then physically just, wow, freaking out. And there's so much imbalance in the body that we're manifesting so many like full out illnesses, diseases, or imbalances or severe symptoms that don't make any sense. You don't have to be in discord about the discord. You don't have to be in like a negative place with this. What we're going through is actually a really beautiful process. It's an invitation to something much higher, but when you're not aware of what's going on, it can be incredibly disconcerting. So I wanted to share in this today, and it's kind of funny because usually, not usually, every single time I've come to the forum to do the MindBody TV, it's a little piece of paper with 3 bullets on it. Boom, boom, boom. It comes through in a little download, and I know exactly the basis of what I'm going to talk about. And then today, this was like over the last week, this is what came in. Pages and pages and pages of like all this stuff. And so I went to look at this morning, like, what are we doing here? This is not how I'm going to do it. This is like I'm writing a book. And then, so I took little notes on my notes. And this is what came through. Like, it's a whole book right on this page, not anything like what how I've done it before. So, and I also, so for those of you who feel like, whoa, I just can't function in whatever's going on for me, what the heck is wrong with me, what's happening, and you're trying to kind of medicate it, either with not necessarily pharmaceuticals, but like with anything to like, I got to fix this problem, I'm not able to function. This is going to be a really useful session for all of us because we aren't really required to function in that old paradigm. And I'm going to explain today what this ascension is from more of a scientific viewpoint of what's happening in the body, what's happening in the electromagnetics of our planet, and how that affects your cells and your health and your DNA. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Kim Duramo. I am a physician. I was an emergency medicine physician for several years and really transitioned out of that whole paradigm into something far more expansive, having always been very intuitive, just really connecting with myself, like, what is it I'm here to do? What is it I'm here to be? And something that made no sense in the linear mind that I couldn't even understand, but that I really felt the calling of. And so I continued every day to tap into it and tune into it and begin to create my life from that space of truth within me. This is part of the ascension for us all. We're moving from this 3-dimensional structure of here's who you are. You know, the outside world's going to tell you who you are. Here's what you do. The outside world's going to tell you all the rules to have success. Here's what you want. The outside world will tell you all the things you should have. And this will make you happy. So it's like this outside guideline for life that are handed to us. And in the 3D reality, there are all these conclusions, ideas, beliefs, assumptions about how the world works, about how your body works, about how life works. And we have evolved into something much, much higher that has shown us none of that is actually true. So we can start from these really basic things. And that first octave, if those of you have seen the video on the front page of my website at drkimd.com, is about the octaves of consciousness. That first like scale of consciousness is all about these rules. Here's what you're supposed to do. Here's what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to kind of keep us safe to learn all these things, but it's very, very limiting, and they're not even true. It's not true that if I study really hard, I'll be successful and have a good life. It's not true that if I give to everyone else and do and work hard and try, that I will have really great relationships. It's not true that if I sacrifice myself and try to give, that I'll be really happy. Like none of the things. Or if I save money and make lots of money, you know, go get a good job, then I'll have a great life and be happy in my life. None of those things are actually true. None of those things are what really create wealth or true prosperity or true love or joy. And so like the bottom falls out. Well, these are all the pieces in the third dimension that we've been in. Okay, I'm going to only believe in what I can see, touch, taste, and feel, not realizing that our brain is set up to buy into the perspective we're in. Like it actually won't see beyond it, even though there's so much more available. So we're moving from this third dimension, and there's so many other things about like what our medical field has determined is true about the body, that now we're finding, oh, that's not even really true about the body. We're not really primarily physical. We are primarily made of energy. Or, oh, here are all these diseases, and if you have a disease, you won't get better, and you must require a physical fix in the form of a medication or surgery. And what we're finding in this higher consciousness is, oh, wait, that's not really true either. There are many, much more powerful ways to affect the physical body than by addressing things physically. And there are a myriad of things that exist in this third dimension of reality that we can buy into that are not true, that go against our true nature and what's emerging here in this sort of fifth dimension, a more expansive reality, and what life is inviting all of us to. So really, this is what the ascension is about. And yes, we can talk about the fourth dimension because I can hear the questions coming up around that in just a moment. But what we're experiencing can be really tumultuous, because we can be so plugged in to that reality. I've got to do this. I have to do this. This is not going to be possible unless X, Y, and Z happens. And so we focus on it so much and buy into it so much that we aren't able to see beyond it. And then when our body's moving into something higher, we're like, whoa, this is not okay. Something's wrong. And I'm going to get into some of the specific symptoms that go along with it. So jumping right in, that's sort of the gist of what we're talking about today. Why are the frequencies arising? What's actually happening that is causing this shift? We're going to get into that in today's session. I would love to hear from everyone who's live. Where are you tuning in from? And hello, everyone. Rita and Michael and Jenny, Nicole, Alex, Allie, Heather, Randy, Maggie. I've been working locally with Maggie, and she's amazing. We started posting on Instagram, and we played with Instagram stories yesterday. So I'm going to be playing more in that forum as well, because it's really fun and fluid. So I'd love to hear what symptoms you've been experiencing that might seem kind of strange and not fit into the model of like this 3D reality. Here are these constellations of symptoms, X, Y, and Z, and they make up these quote unquote diseases. And so if you have these weird symptoms, you have a disease. And then all of what we make that mean, which is more BS of belief systems and what we're buying into. There's something much higher emerging in the body, and there's way more possibilities available to you. So why is all of this happening? The electromagnetics of the planet are increasing. And what are electromagnetics is just the energy emission. It's the frequency, or how fast the energy is moving. All energy moves. Every physical thing that we see around us, whether it's, you know, this is my elastic band I put on my hair. This is my cell phone. They vibrate at different frequencies, but they both appear physical, solid. I can put my hand on these things. I'm sitting on a chair. When we look at these things molecularly, and then we look at them atomically, and then we go even tinier subatomically, what we have now seen is everything is constantly moving, and none of it is really separate from anything else. So, you know, my phone is not separate from my water. What? Clearly these things are distinct and not the same. Well, what we find is on the level of energy, that everything is part of a field of energy that affects everything in that field. And none of these things are separate. So in the 3D consciousness, we're in separation consciousness. Everything is separate from each other. We can't affect one thing unless we physically impact it with another. And in the 5D unity consciousness, everything is connected. I'm connected with all things. The frequency, the electromagnetic frequency of the planet is increasing, and it's increased exponentially just in the last 4 to 5 years. So it was hanging out around 7 point something, 7.2, 7.8. And we have these devices that are measuring out in space what the frequency is. Now, what is that Schumann frequency? I didn't really get a lot of clarity, didn't know a lot about this myself. There is, we got the planet, and then you have the atmosphere around the planet. Whenever you take like a ball and then you say you surround it with crystal or you surround it with glass, there's going to be a frequency between those two spheres. The energy inside the sphere down to the center of the ball is going to be a certain frequency, depending on what material the little thing in the center is made of. So if you have like a crystal shell around a little sphere made of metal or made of any kind of material, it's going to be vibrating at a different frequency, and the space around it will be affected. So just like that, we have the planet Earth, and then we have the atmosphere around the planet, and that atmosphere sort of contains the energy in, so the electromagnetics that the planet emits, the energy that the planet emits, can be measured. For a long time, just little minor variations up and down, no major changes, and all of a sudden these huge spikes, major changes very quickly in the frequency of the planet, in this Schumann frequency. This has a huge effect on everything in your body, everything on the planet. So we are very electromagnetically sensitive. Our body emits an electromagnetic field. Everyone around us, we're going to feel their electromagnetic field. The strongest electromagnetic field in the body is the electromagnetic field of the heart. Way more powerful than the electromagnetic field of the brain, and it will in fact influence everything you think and everything you perceive. Your beliefs, what you see, touch, taste, and feel, what you think is true, how your body feels emotionally, it's all powerfully affected by the electromagnetics of the heart, which is determined by your emotional state. So when the Schumann frequency started to rise, it's inviting us into a higher frequency. If we're not able to begin to embrace unity consciousness, a higher awareness of love, unity, peace, we're going to start going crazy. It's going to create a lot of stirring up, which it has, and it can create a lot of really chaotic symptoms in the body. Okay, so what kind of symptoms have you been experiencing? Alex here in Arizona, Nicole's over here in Utah. I know there's a lot of us over here in the Southwest faction. Allie, Tanya, Allie's from San Francisco. Hello, Tanya. She's from, I know, New Zealand. Jenny, Wisconsin. Sherry, happy Halloween. Oh, I meant to say happy Halloween. I didn't think of putting a costume on, but I have an orange background. We're going to be going out to trick or treat tonight with the kids. So, all right, Jean McCarthy. Emily from UK. Thanks for talking about this. Oh, from Canada, Linda. Ann Schatz from North Carolina, made to my first live, excited to be here. I've been feeling all of this in difficult ways. I'm ready for my experience to be easier and more fluid. One of the things that just knowing and understanding this alone can make this more fluid. And I shared a few weeks ago in the MindBody TV episode about the 3 steps when we're integrating something new and that calibration stage, where we have this speeding up, which that's what the Schumann frequency is doing. It's speeding up to a higher possibility, a higher level of what we're really able to receive and how fluidly we're really able to live, how fluidly we can communicate, how easily we can connect, how much joy we can experience. But when we have resistance to that, the calibration can be rocky. Doesn't mean it's not calibrating. It is. But just realizing, oh, I'm in a calibration sort of helps me release the resistance. When I feel that ucky gunky, like, oh, what's going on? I don't like how I feel. What did I do? What did I eat? Should I do this? Should I do that? when I realize, oh, I'm in a calibration. And right now, I'm in the greatest expansion of my life. It really helps me just let it be exactly as it is. And that alone is the fluidity that I'm looking for, just being more fluid with where I am. I spoke with a client yesterday, and there was this whole piece around, we want to get there. We want to be there. When am I going to be in this heightened state? And we really never will be anywhere other than right here, right now. So can I be right here, right now with what is, whatever that is, more fluidly? Can I just be 2% more willing to feel what I feel? Oh boy, I have a little glitch in my, in my Facebook. Hold on a sec. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going because it looks like this is still working. Why is that happening? Okay, here we go. So as the Schumann frequency increases our frequency, our cells are affected, our DNA are affected. It can be super disoriented because we have no clue what's going on. And we think things are supposed to be the way they've already been. And then we begin to evaluate what's happening for us through the lens of that 3D reality. I must be broken. I must be wrong. This is a bad thing. I must be dying. Oh my God, this is the end of the world. Well, it is the end of the world as you know it, but it's not the end of you. And you are expanding into far greater and more beautiful things. So when we have that awareness, you can have way more fluidity, more and more and more, and really allow this to be not just more fluid, but even like a really amazing, amazing experience that you really appreciate. Okay, I can't see the comments. Let me go on my phone. I think I have a glitch. So it was really interesting for me because this morning I had a couple hours and I'm like, all right, I'll get work done. I had a zillion things I wanted to get taken care of. And I was super excited about pretty much all of them. And then I came to just get stuff done. And it was like, I can't do a thing. I can't even function right now. What do I even do with myself? And it felt like that many times where it was like really bad because I try to push through it and try to figure it out and try to make it happen. And today I was like, okay, none of these things, because I like to make a little list sometimes, none of these things feels really fluid. And I will just go and do yoga. I will just go and breathe. I will just release this and let it go. I think we're having a problem on the live. Hold on a second. I think I'm frozen.
Hi.
Hey, are you on the live?
Yeah.
Am I frozen?
No, just to check you were.
Okay.
I know. I heard you say you had a glitch, but everything looked okay on my end.
Okay. All right. My screen is just frozen, so I can't see
you're fine. You're plugged in and.
Okay.
No.
Thanks, Jess. All right. I'm going to open up another window to see if I can see it. So, who knows what this is? No. Shoot. I'll go with my computer. All right, everyone, hang on. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I'm going to go on my phone so I can see the comments. So with this massive acceleration, it's inviting us to let it in. And when we're trying to hang on to the world as we know it and we think this is a problem and the world's falling apart, it creates way more resistance and our body can't fluidly receive the new frequencies. And this is a new frequency. It's new insight, new realizations, new awareness, new ways of thinking, being aware of my connection with everything around me. So, and I think I was talking about the piece about getting there. How do I get there? We can really only choose to be more fluid with where we are. I am here. I don't like it, maybe what I feel or what's coming up, but I choose to be more willing to feel what I feel. More willing to allow this maybe a little discord and just flow with it because it's like, nope, I don't need to put all my alarms on about this. I get what's happening and it's a beautiful thing. So symptoms, we can have chronic, severe sometimes pain because as higher frequencies go through the body, where we hold tension will be, instead of just being like, if we have lower frequencies moving through the body, think of like speed of energy. If you're coursing down the highway and you hit a speed bump, you're going to be like, whoa, But if you're just cruising along like a parking lot and hit a speed bump, it's just a tiny little, you don't even notice it, just a little hiccup. Also, you're like in a jet engine and you hit your turbulence, it's going to be like blah, 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 blah. So we're going at a much higher speed. So the little nuggets of speed bumps we hold, like I'm not good enough, or I really should do it how everyone else is telling me to do it, or there really isn't abundance and I could lose everything, and fear, or all these little things we've held that seem innocuous, but at these higher frequencies, they're going to be excruciating. So pain is certainly one of the ways we hold these physical energies. All of our beliefs become physicalized. So the ways we've held these physical energies in the body isn't as fluid and resilient as it could be. So when we're in higher frequencies, it can be painful. So chronic pain, fibromyalgia, all kinds of pain syndromes, headaches, migraines, chronic fatigue. This is the biggest thing with chronic fatigue. And I have so much compassion if you have had the diagnosis and had these symptoms. This can be a tricky one to talk about because I'm not trying to take it away from you and say, you don't really have chronic fatigue, it's all in your head, or any of that crap. No. However, the fatigue is so unrelenting because this is an invitation for you to allow a reboot. And when we're still, no, I gotta push, I gotta go, I gotta try. When we're still operating in the old system, we can't really get the reboot so swiftly and quickly as we would be able to, as is available. So for many of us, our systems are running so intensely that reboot, it's like short-circuiting your system. If you're trying to go, let's say, jet speed and you're riding like a VW wagon, you're going to be like, oh God, I'll never get there. Oh my God. And then you try to push that little VW wagon to go at jet speed and you're like conking out. You're going to short circuit. It's not going to work. And then you kind of can feel like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Well, you're meant to transmute and be in this jet, going at a jet speed and soar, even like a rocket ship. So it's okay to let yourself reboot and like the dissolution of that old structure so that you can allow the emergence of the new structure, which is the jet, which is the rocket, which is something where you can really soar. So chronic fatigue. And there's a lot to say on that, and maybe for a different episode that we'll do. The other pieces, so all kinds of autoimmune, because your immune system requires way more fluidity to function harmoniously. If you learn anything about psychoneuroimmunology, your thoughts, beliefs, ideas, emotions, the way you, the communications from your brain, your neurology is very intimately connected with your immune system. And so if you're in imbalance, it's going to trigger your immune system, and then you can't fight viruses and bacteria. Then Lyme disease can be chronic, Epstein-Barr can be chronic, and these frequencies, which they hold their own frequencies, hang out in the body, and we don't really, we aren't able to move beyond them. Okay, let's look for some comments while we're here. You know what, Jess, I can't see them, so I'm going to give you a call. Okay. And I'm going to have Jessica read the comments because I always like this to be interactive. Hey, can you read me the comments? Sherry? Yeah, but I can't see that. I can't. Oh, okay. I met Ann from North Carolina. I made it to my first live. That's the last one I see. I'm ready for this experience to be easier. It's not letting me click on new comments. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll go in. Any more comments that come through, I'll go in and answer later. And everyone's in the community too. So I'll spend a little extra time in there this week since I can't see the comments live right now. So with this awakening, other physical symptoms, so pain, fatigue, autoimmune imbalance, chronic infections, that it's like, why isn't this going away? It has everything to do with consciousness. We are scientifically seeing now that all of these, even your microbiome, the bacteria that hang out in the gut, There's, bacteria that live with your body. They have a consciousness of their own. They are calibrating at very specific frequencies. And so there's like good, quote unquote, good bacteria or bad bacteria. They vibrate at different frequencies. The higher, the healthy bacteria vibrate at a higher frequency. The harmful, toxic bacteria vibrate at a lower frequency. Very interesting, because as we ascend in our frequency, we've got to be able to release all the connections with lower frequencies to allow the body to ascend into something higher. And even just your emotions, your ideas and beliefs, the things you're clinging to that can feel like they're going to keep you safe, but they're really just going to keep you resistant, will keep you at those lower frequencies and prevent your body from fluidly releasing and moving beyond infections, pathogens, virus, bacteria, Lyme, etc. I know that might sound oversimplified, but there is so much energetic harmony that's required in order to have the immune system work the way it needs to and clear, Candida, all of these lower frequency pathogens that vibrate at that harmonic of, oh my God, I'm scared, the fear, it's not okay, I'm not going to be all right, oh, why is this happening to me? The more we buy into that, the less able our immune system can clear those kinds of infections. Okay, so what else? Other physical, one of the biggest things I wanted to talk about is tinnitus. Many people through this ascension, we're increasing our frequency, will have this ringing in the ear. What is happening is you're calibrating to a higher frequency. Now, if you, you go into an area where there's a certain noise, a certain frequency that you can hear. After a while, your body will cancel it out. Like you won't even hear that background frequency anymore. And then if you leave the room and you're in a different frequency, you'll hear the silence. And then that will cancel out and you won't be paying attention to it. When you come into a new frequency, there are frequencies that can be perceived by your ears. You will hear different frequencies. Once we integrate that, we're no longer registering it as something we hear. It just cancels out and there's silence. But when there's resistance, like we're moving forward so quickly and there's so much to release around who we've been or where we've been residing that we think we need and we're hanging on to, it can create resistance that prevents that integration. I hope I'm saying this simply enough, because it really is all about energy, and your senses, what you see, touch, taste, feel, can perceive these shifts and frequencies. So when we have this like tinnitus or any other symptom and you're like, oh my God, why do I have this? Oh my gosh, this is really bad. And then you go into fear, it's anchoring you in the old frequency that you're being asked to move beyond or invited to move beyond. So if you could just say, oh, this is okay. It's totally okay. I have this symptom, and even just 2%, relax your body, body. It's okay to move into this new energy. You will immediately hear or immediately not hear the tinnitus anymore. I've had it many times for maybe just like 10-second intervals. Well, I don't know I'm moving into a new frequency, but I'll ascend into a higher frequency and I'll register that pitch and the ringing in my ears. And it's like, what's going on? And the more I just relax into it, it's okay that I'm moving through this. It'll immediately integrate and that will resolve. I would just love to hear from anyone else who's had that experience, or if you're having tinnitus. Sometimes there are anchors we can release, like anger from the past, or big one is not forgiving ourselves for how we've been. Because on a spiritual journey, we'll become aware, I should be more loving. I should be more forgiving. I'm one with all, so I shouldn't be blah, blah, blah. And so like we're judging ourselves, which is totally not what is going to assist any of us. So if you're judging yourself, like forgive yourself for how challenging maybe it's been. It's okay. Forgive yourself for what you think was inadequate behavior. Forgive yourself for what you think was, oh, I'm already 45 years old and I don't have or the judgments. I should have already been blah, blah, blah by now. Like all of that is the 3D stuff you're leaving behind. Be willing to release that, because I do see a lot of times comments in the forums here where people are like, I should be this or I should be that, or like really hard on ourselves. And it's never going to contribute to you being loving and forgiving with yourself is what will create the most. Okay, I'm going to just try to open another window. See where we get with this. Nowhere. Okay. So I want to share right now, and I'm going to put a post in the MindBody Live members group about the heart work. The heart work this week, I would love to invite you to have a little ceremony for yourself centered around love and forgiveness. And the core of this is, it's really an awakening ceremony. You've got to acknowledge what this illness or symptoms or problems or stuck situation is really inviting you to. It wouldn't seem like a stuck situation if you weren't ready to emerge beyond it. It would just seem like, well, this is life, this is how it goes. But the fact that it's bothering you and creating discord means that you are, part of you is already emerging into something more fluid, and you're feeling the discord of holding this. So in this awakening ceremony, you're going to acknowledge, I acknowledge I'm being invited into something higher, even though I have no clue what that is or how to get there, how to do this or what's going on. Doesn't matter. It's okay. I acknowledge there's something higher here for me. The fifth dimension is really about abundance, freedom, unity. People talk a lot about abundance consciousness, but in judgment. So that's not going to work. So in this awakening ceremony, being aware on some level, I am being invited into a higher level of freedom and fluidity. And then a piece of forgiveness, like forgiving yourself, apologizing to yourself. Oh, I'm sorry. In whatever way I've held on to this fear, to this old way of being, to this old perspective of separation and inadequacy. So I'm sorry. I forgive myself. So it's like you're on both sides of the equation. I'm sorry, I've held on to these perspectives. I know this is not the truth of who I am. So that's like the first part of the awakening ceremony. And then the second part is I take full responsibility for how I feel in each moment without making myself wrong. So once we emerge more fully into fluidity, we can begin to see that we ourselves are co-creators. We are choosing. And so our experience is created. And if we're in judgment, it's painful. Like, what are you saying? This is my fault? Well, no, that is not what anyone's saying. But when we're in judgment and separation, it can be really hard to understand that. Wait a minute, I'm suffering so badly. How could this be my fault? So just release that. Instead, it's I take full responsibility for how and what I feel. What I feel is a part of what I'm here to experience and forgive and release and allow so that I emerge beyond it. So this doesn't come from the mind. None of this can. The 3D is kind of the realm of the mind, and the 5D is the realm of the heart. The 3D is the realm of the seen, and the 5D is the unseen, but the inner knowing. So the 3D is the learning and externals, like external rules. And the 5D is the inner knowing and the inner guidance. The 3D is the lack and limitation. It's only so much to go around. And then neutrality in 5D is really about abundance consciousness. So we can't understand it from the mind. The mind can't understand, what do you mean I already am all that is? What do you mean I already am wealth and abundance? I got to get wealth. I got to get this thing. So we're merging into this, and you're going to just go along for the ride as fluidly as you can. You do not need to make the journey happen. It's more a matter of releasing the brakes as best you can. So just find that 2% greater resilience. I'm willing to experience what I'm experiencing. It's okay. I'm in this calibration that will allow the energy to move through your body more smoothly. So there's less pain and fatigue and symptoms, less discord in the immune system. It will allow the energy to move through your body more fluidly, and it will allow your body to integrate the consciousness that's coming in, because the consciousness is a consciousness of pure love. I love myself unconditionally. You can't get there through the mind, because the mind is so sure of all the reasons you shouldn't love yourself, because you are bad and wrong, because you did do it the wrong way, because you did do the bad thing. So it's all about judgment and duality. It's really through the heart. And so I'm going to give you one more piece with today's broadcast, that love is the frequency that is the bridge to this higher dimension. So if you think of 3D and 5D, the fourth dimension is sort of the corridor in between, where we sort of suspend disbelief and like, oh, maybe I'm a co-creator, and I'm, it's up to me, and let me play with that whole realm. In the fifth dimension, it's way more about receiving. I'm not creating the realm of possibility, I'm opening to allow it. So love is really the bridge. We can't see love. We can't feel love. We can't even really define love. We can feel and experience the effects of love. So if you connect in your body right now and have a few deep breaths and just relax as best you can. And I'm really sorry I'm not seeing the comments today. I'm going to do one more thing to try to figure that out. I want you to feel love for yourself, for something in your life, for someone, any kind of love, a little baby, or maybe an experience where you had an amazing time with friends or loved ones. I want you to just connect with the space of love and feel what you feel. There sometimes is a tingling. There's sometimes a sense of joy. There's all kinds of things you'll begin to feel. This is a shift that will happen in your body as a result of connecting with love. So what is love? Can you see love? Can you, what are you really accessing? You can feel the result of love. You can feel physical, chemical changes in your body. You feel a heightened sense of fluidity immediately because your body responds to the energy of love. So even though you may, you're in this other dimension where it's like, I don't know what love is, you can access it. Love is the bridge to coming into this space of knowing where all is well, where I am beautiful and loved and accepted, where I have all that I could ever need. And then the quote unquote new world can emerge. It's like if you put blinders on, you're like, I can't see. But through love, it melts those blinders away. And then you can actually see the world as it really is. There's a beautiful world waiting right here for all of us. And if we have those blinders on of fear and lack and doubt and anger and all these things from the past, we cannot see it. We cannot receive it. So be willing to connect with love any moment. It's the conduit. And I would love to hear about the heart work in this awakening ceremony, just to let your cells know, because your cells don't know the difference between the real and the imagined. Your brain does exactly the same thing, sends exactly the same chemical signals, physical changes in your body, if you're imagining or you're actually experiencing. So in this awakening ceremony, you're going to step into the knowing, oh, this is part of my awakening. And you can even do like a burning ceremony. I'm really into this, where you write down all the things, my physical pain, the way I've related to my pain, thinking something's wrong with me, all the things I've done to try to fix it. I hate this pain, or my fatigue, I'm just battling it. I can't succumb. I can't let it take over me. Right. All the experiences, the illness, symptoms, all the ideas and thoughts I have about it, all the ways I feel about it. Or I am so scared I don't have a job. I'm not going to make any money. It's not going to be okay. All the 3D reality. Write it all down. And you crinkle it all up, and then you burn it. And in this awakening ceremony, this is assisting my awakening. I consecrate and release all of that and all the energy that goes along with it. And I allow myself to receive something higher. I hope this has been helpful for you. Jess, if you send me the Facebook password, I'm trying to log in on Safari, and I don't really know how to do that, but I don't think this is going to work because I have the floating little circle of doom. I again apologize, and I promise I will go into the members area immediately and play in there if anyone wants to stick around for a few minutes, and I'll answer the questions or maybe pop back on another broadcast so I can communicate live. Sending you so much love. I also, one thing I want to share, I'm going to put it in the members site in the community for all the members, there's an audio, a group call I did a long time ago that was on relationships as a mirror. Right now, a lot of people are going into the spin out of, why is this happening in my relationship? This person is triggering X, Y, Z for me. Why is my husband in this dark space and now I'm in a lighter space, but now we're battling? Or whenever he goes into that dark space, it sucks me back down my own dark hole. So all these battles in relationship where we think, well, as I'm awakening, I got to make sure he awakens or else I won't really be able to awaken. We can let all of that go. We don't need to identify with the other person's process. We can actually be in total fluidity in our own space, even though we're like connected maybe through marriage or a family or relationship. It's really interesting. In the heart, we can experience our journey as our journey. It doesn't have to be tied to someone else's experience of their journey. And so this audio will bring you deeper through that relationship, what that's really about, and how we get into these projections and how it can keep us stuck. So I'm going to make that available for all of the members. Okay, completing for this week. I'll see you next week. I think we're going to continue with this topic as well. Lots of love. Bye.